welcome everyone for being here. And it's been just really amazing to watch all the positive response so far we have gotten from the community on the launch of our pilot grants program. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Memory, the Mad Empire, and Mad for helping us, especially with all the planning and all the back end that makes this possible for all of you guys. So huge shout out. Thank you guys. We're so excited to finally launch this program that we've been working on for so long for you guys. So why did we do this grants program? At Mona, the grants program is designed to empower new and existing creators to foster growth, ingenuity, and development of the Mona ecosystem and the open metaverse as a whole. And at Mona, we strive to create new opportunities for builders and committed to building that open metaverse. And over the past year, if you guys, whoever's been here, even if you're just new, we've been doing a build-a-thons, mini challenges, and we have been really amazed by what the community has created. And we wanted to expand on this creativity and open up another avenue for community ingenuity to flourish, which is here, the grants program. So, a little introduction before I dive in. I'm Natalie, aka Fractillions, and I'm kind of one of the key point persons for this. So I'll be here to serve you guys, and anytime you have any questions, ideas, suggestions, please always feel free to jump into the grants channel and reach out to me. And I always do my best to answer your questions or find the answers for you guys. And like I mentioned, this is a pilot program, and we are here to learn right alongside with you and see how we can improve this program every step of the way. So in regards to office hours, this is our official first office hours for the grants program, and we will be having it every Monday at 10 o'clock for the next 4 weeks, which is the submission window. So jump on in every Monday. I will be hosting everyone. Next week I will be out, but Memory will be taking over for that. And for today, I have a little bit of a outline for what I want to cover. I'm going to first start out with resources overview. I'm going to take a little dive into this Mona Grants program homepage, landing page, and kind of review everything that's in here, and hopefully it'll clarify a lot of things for you guys. So first, a review overview. Then I'm going to dive into the grant creation process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an existing grant. We created 2 grant samples for you guys to take a look at. And then I'm going to kind of like reverse engineer and kind of break it down how I came upon that grant to hopefully inspire you guys and help you guys in your own process. And after that, we'll have an open forum, and you guys can just ask away anything you want. And if you guys have a mic, if you don't mind muting it, if you guys have a little, unless you're going to be speaking, that would be awesome. I think I see Pixel Hustler, possibly Cheddar Queso. If you guys could mute yourselves, that would be awesome. Thank you. Cool. So I hope that sounds like a fun thing for this hour. And if you ever have any questions along the way, please feel free to use the message over on the right. Hey, Cheddar Queso, woohoo! So good to see you here. I love seeing people here from all the different metaverses jump in. I'm a huge advocate of cross-metaverse collaboration. So cool. Let me dive in first. What we're gonna do first is if you guys haven't checked this out, this is the Mona Grants program landing page, and I'm kind of gonna dive into this and kind of like give some overview of each section and why we created it. So hopefully all of you guys have either possibly gotten started or not yet taken a look at this, but we'll dive in real quick into this. I highly recommend, even after this hour, for everyone to just take a look and just dive in deeper into this. I'm going to take like kind of more of a quick overview of each section, but we really have created this whole system just to like help facilitate the whole process for you guys. It could be a little intimidating at first, but we've tried to make it as painless and fun as possible. So let's dive into what we're looking for. So in this section, it kind of gives you a little overview of what kind of spaces we're looking for, but there's other areas in this landing page that go deeper into that. But what I've been asked a lot is who can apply. So this grants program is open to everyone, but we are prioritizing applicants who have been more part of the community before. So previously minted or submitted spaces on Mona, participated in our build-a-thon challenges, strong work in related field, which means, built other metaverses, have experience with that kind of stuff, and also been active in the Mona community. And another tip that I have is if you guys haven't built here, we are also going to have like a team formation office hours, but I recommend just posting it in a grants channel and just saying, hey, I'm looking for a team member. You can pair up with somebody who does have those experiences and possibly collaborate and build something together. This is the big baby right here, the Airtable. This is the grant submission form. So what I do whenever I've done grants myself is I go here first and kind of get a lay of the land and see exactly what is going to be needed. And as it says here this does not autosave, so be sure to keep your progress safe. So what I would do is just create like a separate doc and kind of like fill in all the information on there and work on it there. And once it's finalized, bring it into here. But I just wanted to dive a little bit into each of these sections. So another thing that I've been asked a lot is grant category. Can you submit for multiple grant categories? And can you submit multiple grants? And the answer is yes. So you can submit, your grant can be across multiple categories, and you can submit different grants if you want as well. So it's also good to know. And the amount requested, it's again dependent on what type of scope you want to do for your particular grant. And previous projects of interest, this is where you guys can just fill in links to what projects you've worked on, or you can also do, let's say if you have a draft in Mona that you're working on, you can also link that, but paste any of that kind of information there. And this is pretty straightforward as to what represents you as a builder, curator, educator, artist. Grant abstract, this is the kind of the meat right here. Grant abstract, project description, project outcomes, and milestones. Here, let me grab this here. Okay, so for this section, I'm going to actually jump into another one afterwards, and it gives you guys a little bit more detail of what we are hoping for you guys to put into here. But I have the 2 grants that I submitted. I do have a little bit of grant experience, but when it comes down to it, most of these don't take a huge amount of time, but we do encourage you guys planning and kind of like creating that rough draft before you finally submit. It does help you. So when it comes to this portion, which is kind of like the meat and bones of your grant, I definitely highly recommend that. And again, I will actually be diving deeper into this with the example that I created for you guys, so you guys get an understanding of what exactly each section is. So features. These are what kind of features your space will use, and some of them, it could be a event space, you could do live streaming, you can have reactor elements, warp volume, PPV, any of these options, so, or other. So maybe your space is, you're going to collaborate with an existing space owner and that kind of fun stuff. So pitch deck, we're also going to have a pitch deck session, which is, I'm just going to go over some of the tools, and it is optional, but I do recommend spending the time to do a pitch deck, because it kind of does help you as a grantee kind of like solidify your proposal. And also it's a really fun way for us, as you know, we review the committee reviewing grants, to get a really clear overview understanding of your grant quickly. So this is a fun thing, and it's some people, and again, you do not have to do it, but it is a fun process I do recommend everyone doing. So the rest of this is pretty straightforward. You submit your pitch deck if you want, your website, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. So again, what I do here is I will grab all of this, create an Excel file, and just fill everything out there. And yeah, okay, cool. So let's keep going. And this is more like this workshop today is more me just going over some of the specifics, but it's really important stuff, so I thought we'd take the time to do it today. So this is right here, grant categories is this is like the really great place where you can kind of get a lot more ideas of what we're hoping for. And we spent a lot of time in here, so let's dive into it a little bit. So for each one of these, we created, we kind of made it so to inspire you guys or give you ideas of what to possibly create within here. So in the space example, you can see there, we gave some game space examples, like escape rooms, racetracks, event examples, like conference spaces, fashion spaces, music streaming, community spaces, community clubhouse, creative educational spaces. So each one of these, we broke down and did the same thing, kind of to help ignite. It's not, you don't have to follow our examples, but it's just to give you ideas of what you could possibly do. So let's go back, and we made this great, my favorite category always is open. So go for it. Just do whatever crazy idea you have. We would love to hear from you guys, what you have in mind. And here is another great area right here in the submission requirements section. This is a part that kind of goes over some of those details that I recommend you guys checking out. So the grant abstract, it kind of gives you an idea of what we expect in each of these sections. So definitely spend the time and read through this. And here, each one of these drop downs has some more goodies in there. Grab some coffee, sit back, read through. And the cool thing about all of this, which, in my own grant making process, like it really helps to read through this. You'll start getting ideas of how you can actually, what your grant might look like. it'll give you a lot of really interesting like ways to connect, possibly like grant categories or invite a friend to be a part of your team. So definitely read through that, and timeline. This is an important thing to keep in mind too. So we have another pretty much a little under a month now to submit these proposals. So we wanted to make sure everybody had enough time to prepare, submit, not be rushed. But we do encourage you, submit early if you can. That gives us time to kind of review more things quicker. But yeah, we have a month. So this whole month, use it and come to all of these office hours. Come and meet other grantees who are working on their proposals, and just give resource or any ideas in the grants channel, and we'll be there to help you along every step of the way. And it's also good to understand what the expectations are when you look at this as well. So what happens is after a month, we will have 2 weeks where 7 different committee members here or team members on Mona will review the grants. And after that, we will have our announcement of the grantees, and they will be considered our first cohort of grantees. And yeah, so they'll have 7 weeks to build out, and then after that they'll deliver their grant, and then we'll do a showcase. And after that, we'll probably have 2 or 3 weeks where we'll reassess and have like kind of like a period of figuring out how the next grant cycle will look like. And yeah, hopefully we'll start all over again, possibly a month after that. So yeah, this is our pilot, and we're learning a lot as we go, but we're excited to have all of you guys here with us on this journey here. So, okay, so back here real quick, resources. We do have a whole list of FAQs, and I've already been asked a lot of these, so I do recommend coming in here, checking out if possibly your question can be answered by any of these, and you probably have a lot of other questions that we can add to our FAQs. It's a growing list for sure. And this is the good part here. This is the little samples that we created just to give you guys an idea of something fun that you could do. So the one that I'll actually be going over today is this one right here. And yeah, I'm going to kind of dive into the brainstorming and ideation behind this. And yeah, I'll just dive in. And before I do that, does anybody have any questions or comments? We're also going to have an open forum at the end, so you guys can ask away. But hopefully, I would love to give some time to everybody to kind of give a quick introduction to each other near the end after I go through this. But if you have any questions about what I've gone over, please unmute yourself and ask away. If not, I'll just dive in.
Hey, Fractalians, I have a quick question.
What's up?
My name is Cheddar Queso, and I'm here from the Decentraland community. I've just heard a lot of my Decentraland friends talking about Monaverse, and so I just wanted to jump in and see what you guys were up to. And when will this website go live?
Oh, it is already live. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a link somewhere, like in
Yeah.
the chat? I was looking.
Yeah. Let me just paste it for you right now.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. There you go. So this has actually was just live on Friday, so it's brand spanking new. You're here at the right time, and yeah, I know you of all the stuff you do in Decentraland. Big fan of all your work, so super excited to see you here.
Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else have anything else? If not, I'll just dive in.
Hey everyone, hi Fractalians, this is Pixel Hustler. I've actually got to go, and I'm going to work on this proposal. I pretty much got the gist of it. I dove into it this weekend, but I just want to throw out there that if anybody needs any assistance or needs someone else on their project for building, scripting, whatever, I might be available. Let me know.
Wicked. Excited. Yeah, post that in the Grants channel too. That way people know.
I will do.
Okay, awesome. Catch you later.
Take care, you guys. Bye.
Bye. Woohoo, that's awesome. Oh wait, I muted myself. Cool. Okay, so what I wanted to do now is dive into the grant creation process. So it sounds like, from the sound of a lot of the people I've been reaching out, DMing a lot of people have ideas, and it seems like a lot of people are familiar with this process. But what I wanted to do for today with this one is just kind of like go through my own brainstorming ideation when it comes to grant creation, and hopefully that will help you guys. So The goal is by walking you guys through this, the ideation, brainstorming, question asking that I'm created for you guys. It will also like just help your own process. So where to start? And I don't know if any of you guys have been to our Wednesday Rizzle workshops. We've hosted one of the first ones I did there was a VR ideation workshop, which was I had a lot of fun. And so I kind of go through a similar process when it comes to grant process creations as well. So what I do is I start asking questions, clarifying questions. So that's exactly what I did for this. So my first question that I asked was here, where is my question? There it is. What excites me most in this metaverse space and what am I most passionate about? And my answer to that question was I love building, connecting people, hosting events, and teaching. So the reason I picked those questions is I like to start with general and then go to core elements that currently drive me. So a grant in many ways is an opportunity for you to work on something that you truly are inspired by. We have general guidelines here in our grants program, but really up to you to propose something that's you're super passionate about. So take some time to ask yourself that. And I think it's really fun to exercise to do. Like, what are you really excited about and what are you really passionate about? And I think that gives you a really compelling reason that will fuel you and keep you going even when things get like difficult, because there'll be, if you're going to do this big project, you're going to have that drive. So I think having something you're super passionate about is really, really, really important. The number 2 question I ask is, what is something I have not seen before, and what is something I could do to make the existing system or process better? So right away, the number one thing that came to mind for me was creative onboarding. So I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but for me, I think a lot of communities have issues onboarding members. They maybe have something that introduces people, but it quickly fizzles out. People don't feel like they're part of something really, like they're onboarded and they're still kind of like on the edge. And I wanted to create an onboarding that was empowering, made people feel like they were part of something and feel like they were contributing to it, which is not a really easy thing. So, but I thought that would be super fun. That would be like kind of combining everything that I spoke about earlier in the questions that I answered and be like, okay, how would I approach this? So my rabbit hole was after that, I kind of took a piece of paper out. I love paper and pencil, and I highly recommend everyone taking out the paper and pencil. And I thought it would be cool to do some sort of conference about the metaverse that I could invite my friends who are asking me about it. And I thought conferences are cool, but a lot of times you just go to the final event. You don't have ownership. You're at it, but you're having fun, but it isn't like your event. So I volunteered on many crypto conferences over the past 3 years, and I was there during the planning, the build out, and the actual event, and it was super rewarding to be part of the whole thing. So what I wanted to do is kind of like create that same type of experience onboarding with that whole like being part of the whole process. So that's kind of where this grant here came about. So yeah. So the Collaborative Conference World Building Onboarding Workshops, a super long name, but in regards to the why I chose this, I kind of wanted to create an example that was a little bit on the bigger side and also something that kind of combine different feature checklists. So for this particular grant, I've included live streaming, reactor, onboarding events. So it kind of mixes across the board a bunch of different things, but I think it makes it really fun. So statement of grant abstract. So an onboarding community building workshop. This project will integrate onboarding, education, engagement, collaboration, and the metaverse. So the whole gist of it is I will bring community members in and I will through like mid-journey through different ideation tools, basically we come up with a conference that I build out over 6 weeks, and they themselves are actually part of it because they will also be creating like presentations as part of this, and we will have a huge event at the end celebrating this launch of this build and also celebrating all they've learned, what they've contributed, and kind of like that's kind of how I saw it. So for me, it's kind of a fun way to like I wanted to something that pushed what could be done and how you guys as grantees could possibly start thinking about how you can integrate all these different elements into whatever grant you possibly are going to do. And again, this is just a total example, so just kind of like I wanted to throw out there a crazy idea that I thought would be fun to maybe like, oh, okay, maybe get you thinking about what possible ways you guys could do the same thing. So on this one, this is kind of a more of a robust one. So the amount of tier and amount I said for this one was 5,000 because this is kind of like I would probably have another team member on this. This would be a two-person adventure. I probably on board if I were to do this like an events manager. So she or he would be in charge of that aspect, and I would be just doing the build. And on this one, I kind of like spent most of the time I spent on this writing this was working on the timeline and milestones. And I think this is really important. And it seems like a little bit right here because what I did is each single week I kind of built out my goals and everything I'm going to be doing for that week. And this is really for you. This is like probably like the most time I spent on this grant was working on the timeline and milestones. And it's really important because it also gives us as a committee a good understanding of, like how you're going to work through this and how you're going to manage your time throughout it. And also like it's really nice for yourself to give yourself realistic goals. Sometimes people come in and they like have all these big things and they're not really sure how to actually like get it accomplished within 7 weeks. But spending some time creating a timeline will really help kind of like kind of solidify, okay, these are going to be my goals for each week. And then it gives you a good idea of be like, wait, maybe this is too much, maybe this I could do more. But this is the part where I really recommend everyone taking the time to figure out exactly what you will be doing for each section. So yeah, dive into here and just look at how I broke it down, and you guys can do it in your own way. But the more detail, the easier it'll be for you. Let's say if your grant gets accepted, you'll be like, you have your game plan. It's done. You're like, cool. You can run with it. So this part is definitely helpful. And we're also going to have kind of like a section, like one of the workshops, we'll kind of dive into that in more detail. So in terms of team, individual, and here is the pitch deck for this one. This one I spent a little bit more time, but just let's open it up so you guys can take a look. And for those of you who don't know Canva, Canva rocks. It's so easy, and I highly recommend. So pitch decks can actually be a really fun part. Some people, again, you could just do one image. That's totally fine. On this one, I used Chat GPT for prompts, Midjourney for taking those prompts and doing visualization, and then just Canva. So it was a lot of fun doing, and I just kind of like went through and kind of put together my little general idea for, yeah. Ooh, I don't know why those images are not there. Gotta love Canva sometimes. So, yeah. How many of you guys here have used Canva? I'm sure a lot of you guys have used Midjourney too, but yep, fingers up. Yeah, Canva's like a lifesaver when it comes to creating something, and also Midjourney. I mean, it just makes everything look like really cool, and also is an amazing ideation tool. I think, especially for my particular project, like the one I'm talking about, it was a really fun exercise to work through. So, yeah, let's go back. I feel like I've been talking way too much. I have a lot more stuff I could dive into, but I kind of wanted to open it up. And I know Cheddar Queso, you gave a little introduction, but I wanted to give this opportunity to everybody who's here to kind of spend like a minute or two introducing yourselves. And if you're looking for a team member, maybe say something, and then you're welcome to also write that down in the dedicated grants channel. But yeah, I'm going to open it up to everyone who's here to just share what their plans are and who they are. So mic yourself and talk away. And even if you're part of the Mona team, you're welcome to introduce yourself. Rizzle and Scoop, you can say hello.
I'll say a thing.
Okay.
I'm Rizzle. I've been around for a while. I'm not actually applying for the grant, but I do a lot of events and cool things with Monaverse and in Monaverse. So I'm pretty excited to see what's going to come out of the grant program because I want to do fun things in Monaverse. So anyone who's doing a thing, especially if it's like event related, I have a ton of experience in that specific area or whatever. As well as a lot of other things. So cool, excited to see what comes out, and like definitely down to lend a hand and help people get some of their concepts and ideas and projects off the ground.
Awesome. No, I'm excited. And yeah, Rizzle, if you guys don't know about the WIP meetup, it's definitely something to check out on Thursdays. And in our Wednesday, we do our Blender and Unity fun, crazy Let's Break Things World workshop. So come join us for that as well. Anybody else want to say hello? It's
Hello.
Oh, hello, Scoob.
Yeah, I haven't had any time to really sit down and think about my proposal. But I have so many ideas in my head that, yeah, this week I will find some time. But I'm just here to kind of see others' ideas and kind of gauge what I could focus on myself. But and if anybody is up to, I don't know, collaboration, feel free to contact me. I'm kind of thinking about something more into the gaming direction. But anything is possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If any of you guys check out Scoob Spaces, we interviewed him a couple weeks back in our Let's Break Things workshop, and amazing builder. So if I could just be a fly on the wall watching what you do, Scoob, I'm happy. Danella number 3, Seth Paint. If you guys, I would love it if you guys shared a little bit about what you're interested, what brought you here today, or just anything. If anybody else wants to unmic yourself.
Yeah, good morning. I was just gonna say real quick. One of the things I was really interested in is trying to like expand like the VR creation side of things, because I know one of the questions that I think the team gets a lot is, does Mona work in VR and stuff like that? I actually have written down when Mona VR as one of my like brainstorming points. So yeah, just being able to create like maybe a workshop series around like helping people build in VR, whether it be like the OpenBrush SDK or just like, making meshes in like Gravity Sketch, or I see we got emotional in here, so like sculpting with different like medium or modeler kind of stuff. Just being able to provide more VR building resources was kind of like the gist of what I was thinking.
Oh, awesome! I'm a big VR lover, so I don't know if you heard me earlier. I was saying a Gravity Sketch workshop I did about avatar creations, and when I started,
Yes,
I
no,
did
those are
all
awesome.
VR. So I love your idea. That sounds great. And yeah, VR, and it's also like such a great way to get started in 3D. Because sometimes like for me, Blender at first was so scary, but Gravity Sketch was kind of like that amazing in between tool that kind of like led me. It was like that gateway drug into 3D for me. But I love Gravity Sketch. To me is still, I would love to learn other programs and how I love combining and seeing the strengths of each, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, and I agree with that too. Like that avatar workshop is really cool. So I think, yeah, just like being able to like expand off of that. And I agree also. It's just like recently I was doing like a 3D animation course through my community college, and doing like actual like mesh modeling through like, loop cuts and like all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I kind of just want to hop into Gravity Sketch because it's so much more like intuitive and easy to build. So yeah, I can definitely back that up. If you can be really cool in Gravity Sketch and hop into a normal 3D modeling program and be like, oh wait, I don't actually know how to do all of this. So yeah, it's a fun thing to like expand into. But yeah, that was just my general thoughts. Is kind of make something that can expand into VR. And yeah, if you're a builder with like VR programs, definitely like shoot me a friend request or something, because I definitely want to link up with more people.
Oh, wicked! Yeah, definitely post that again. Everybody post it in the Grants channel. That way we can keep talking about it because I think those are great ideas. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. Woohoo! And I see you. Let's say Chains. Welcome. I think you were on here before, but I wasn't sure. If anybody else want to share away.
Is there like interactables you can put into the scenes right now? Like if I had boxes and stuff that were interactable in Unity, are they also interactable in Mona right now?
Well, we have all sorts of recent updates to that, and I think maybe Scoob, can you speak to that? You're the master of that.
Yeah, sure. Well, we have a system called Reactor, which is kind of a simplified way to program interactions. It basically works with colliders that the player can run into or look at, and those can trigger animations. And with the new 2022 Unity update coming, well, it's already available. You can use visual scripting to add another layer of complexity and interaction to your spaces. So definitely, I don't know if you have a Unity project file, you cannot just upload it straight away to Mona. You have to kind of rethink that maybe, depending on what you have, but it's definitely possible, yeah.
Yeah, and I have
Yeah,
pasted here in the chat too, here in the Mona docs, and also we have like the Mad Empire has a huge collection of tutorials on the Mona website, on the Mona YouTube, and also on the docs, and also on his own channel. So a lot of these, if you have specific questions, I can definitely help with that and also direct you to docs and to amazing tutorials.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice talking to you guys here. I seen you had the grant. Man, I've been building so many different things. I figured expanding is a good idea and learning about, you know what, you might fit in a little better with one group of people, or you might learn more. So it's good to expand. There's so many different things going on right now, especially metaverse, because I've experimented with, putting actual stores in there, using scans and then real world items and putting them in. And that's pretty interesting, the potential of that. Making VR stores that connect to real stores to try and double their traffic just by connecting them to something like near a Super Bowl game. So every time you enter that Super Bowl game virtually, you would pass by someone's store and you'd see the product sitting there. And then they can pick it up and look at it and see a real item and then click on it to sell it. Or sell it or buy it. I think that's kind of interesting to experiment with. I've been doing that. And I think we are getting to a point where we're going to start meshing IRL into these experiences. And that's, I think, the only way to really grow is for people not just in this environment to want to experience it, but people that have products to sell and experiences to share, even if it's just your local bar. I think there's ways for this stuff to kind of start expanding into IRL.
Yeah, there's phenomenal ways that different metaverse communities are, connecting, IRL experiences with metaverse experiences and brands, how they're engaging. It's really fun for me just to see across the board what people are doing in those regards, and like 3D websites and you name it. It's the rabbit hole in and of itself when it comes to that. But yeah, excited to see what you submit, and thank you so much for sharing. And please post in the grants channel any other ideas or suggestions, or if you're looking for that team member. So Rick, I don't know if you're here, or Emotional or Sharps, if any of you guys want to share, or number 3.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah. Hey, what's up? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, no, I've been in the Discord for a while. I think probably coming up to a year now, I imagine.
Oh, nice.
But I've not been very active, so I've been kind of like in and out of everything. So I got pinged for the grant. I was like, oh, this is super cool. Let me find out more. And yeah, no, thank you for the demonstration. But a little bit about what I'm working on is kind of like a virtual experience or metaverse, let's say, for kids from informal settlements, especially in Africa at the moment. So it's pretty interesting to see kids who don't have anything experience virtual reality for the first time. So it was pretty epic, and hopefully in some way, one way or another, sort of incorporate Mona into that. So I don't know if the grant is the best thing for me at the moment, but it's definitely worth applying and connecting with people here. But no, it's a good opportunity for everyone.
No, that sounds fascinating. I would love to learn more about that. Definitely DM me. That sounds right up my alley. So
yeah, no worries. I'll reach out to you. We'll have a chat. It's pretty epic. It's so cool. But yeah, hopefully a lot of people apply for the grant, because I think Mona are doing amazing things. It's super cool to watch. So congratulations.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was actually in a hackathon at DevCon, and I did a cross metaverse implementation of a build, but it was all an educational center for a research environmental researcher. So the whole thing was to make it accessible to schools. So everything in that space was like the environment of this endangered species. Like the whole school would run around as that creature as the avatar was a small baby rabbit, and then they go to explore, and they became environmental researchers in this space. They had activities and things that we created for them. So there's amazing ways, especially for education, to incorporate what you're trying to hopefully showcase, or even as to educate them about what the metaverse is, right? So
it's a new thing for a lot of people, and I think it's yet to expand further into the masses and just normal sort of adoption. But when you experience these, I was mind blown the first time I experienced virtual reality. I've been on the internet for forever, so these things aren't really new to me. But when you see people who haven't experienced these things or haven't even are not even aware that these things exist, experience it for the first time, wherever they are in the world. It's phenomenal to watch. It's such a crazy experience. I can imagine sort of watching people or in that sort of virtual environment being like, we're learning here, we're finding out about this with this little avatar creature moving around, interacting with everything. It's so cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with you right there. That's, to me, was like, I've been in doing this, but the first time even I went into like a tool like Gravity Sketch, I was blown away. I was like, dude, this is amazing. So it's like, I think we're all on that journey on the like how to share this with other people, and especially the creativity that happens when you onboard people who haven't seen it, and what they can bring in and what they can share and what they can create is to me one of the best parts about it. But yeah, that sounds really cool. I think there's definitely ways to integrate. But oh, see you later. Bye, Scoob. Well, thank you for sharing. That was can't wait to see what you propose or what you create, because that's the thing about like within these spaces. It's the more you start like actually like conceptualizing or seeing how it can work together, things just open up and you're like, oh, what about this, and that's where it gets really fun. The magic happens, like that metaverse flow state happens of creation. But
Yes, accessibility versus like reliability, I guess, because some platforms aren't quite ready for the sort of mass scale adoption yet. Because I think Mona isn't accessible on mobile, as an example. So as soon as, or whenever that may be, if it may be, then the expansion for that will be huge, right? Because then it's more accessible to a lot of people at the click of a few buttons, rather than having a high-powered PC, or you have to be on this specific web browser. I think as time kind of goes on, it's going to be a lot more accessible and a lot more interesting. And I think that's when we'll see like real development happen. It'll just be a crazy space on the internet that people can just come and immerse themselves with from wherever in the world, kind of like MMOs are now, right? But just a completely different experience. It's super cool. I'm so excited for the space. It's so nice.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I just love seeing how an individual has access to so many amazing tools that like just 20 years ago you need a whole team to do. So now like how one individual has the power to do so much if they're dedicated to learn, you could yeah, that's where it gets really magical. It's just like, huh, all you need is, even though it is, I'm originally from South America myself, and so I understand, and I've traveled all over the world and done all sorts of things, so I know accessibility is a big issue, but like now it's a lot easier in many ways, or there's a lot more people working to making that accessibility more possible to underserved communities. So I'm a huge advocate for that as well, personally.
Yeah, I think the first place I went the first place I trialed it all was in Kenya, which was amazing. And I think the next places in Latin America that I look to trial it will probably be Ecuador, because it's different ways of accessibility for different people, different sort of like levels of knowledge around computing. But when I was in Kenya, the children they were amazing. So I imagine it'll be pretty much the same experience in Ecuador, but that's probably the next country that I'm going to be at. So yeah, it's exciting. It's super cool.
Yeah, I love that. One of my dreams when I was like working in STEM programs was pretty much what I had, but it was theirs. They had like, I would travel around with like 20 laptops and just set up, workshops. But to do that around the world would be epic, right? To just like, you have all the gear, you just go and set up shop and then just like teach them how to create all this, spend like a week immersing these different communities that you access with all these tools. And then the best part would be is if you could just leave it, right? You open up labs. Here you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
And that's
If
actually,
money weren't an issue.
well, there's actually amazing communities that have been doing that, like across different metaverses. Like, so there are people already doing that, which is really cool. So those are jumping boards, right? For hopefully continuing that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping that Mona can kind of expand into those kind of things as well, because I think education on this is going to be a huge thing. And I think if people are going to be planning on building spaces, I think education is a very good way to get into things like grant programs, because everyone needs to learn about these things. And being in that environment to learn makes it a hell of a lot better. And if you can create something super cool that people can avoid, it's going to, like, some people here can probably build amazing things. And if people can learn in those environments, it'll just be so amazing. So I bet you guys are going to have some super interesting grants coming through.
Yeah, we're so excited. We can't wait. Number 3, did you want to share something? I'm not sure if you were trying to unmute. Or was it Danala or Valiant or
Hey guys, I'll just jump in really quick and say hello. Hi everyone, my name is Memory. I'll be helping out with the grant process during a couple weeks coming up, and so just wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know that you can reach out to Fractillions or myself personally during this process. And yeah, we're really excited to see what everyone has in store, all the crazy ideas and cross metaverse stuff. Yeah, it's going to be great. So. Good luck to everybody, and we're here for you.
Thanks, Memory. Was there anything else you think I should have covered or should cover? Or, I mean, today was kind of like introductions and just kind of fun overview and leaving it up.
Nah, I think you covered it. It's
Okay,
great.
cool. Yeah, and here's another. Just I guess we have a couple minutes. Unless somebody wants to jump in, just start talking. This is very chill. Okay, here's another fun one. Oh, did you saying something, Olgeta?
I just wanted to test my mic. Can you hear me?
It's very low, but I can kind of hear you.
Oh, hold on. How's that?
Oh, it's still really, I don't know. Is it just low for me?
Huh. Okay.
Let me see. Wait, let me raise my volume. Let me raise my volume. Okay, go for it. I would love to hear from you.
Okay, well, now I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh,
No,
I'm just happy you're here.
Okay, I'm Carla, known as Olgelta in Discord. And yeah, I've been around and it's been really amazing building here. I started with the first build and then I did the Renaissance. And so it's been, just a real exciting, to be in and out of the community, and it's always here and it's just been wonderful. I did wonder, I get some ideas that kind of go off the tracks in ways I'm excited about them, but I sometimes lose track of what's really just too far out there. And so what I was wondering is if we can do like a pre-submission that's just extremely summarized ideas, like a list of 4 or 5 ideas that are really just one-line ideas. Is that going to take up too much time, or do you think that would be something that we could do? Because, like I said, I sometimes I get excited about all the ideas, but some of them are they're just sometimes just a little too far out there for, they have they entertain me.
Well, that's the key to me. That's kind of why we also created the open category for that very reason. And also, we have a month, so we're here to you can always DM me or share in the grants and just chat with all of us about it. And you can submit multiple grants if you like, but it is like a perfect opportunity to spend the next month kind of like iterating and expanding upon ideas and asking everybody in the community. So hopefully we can all help each other make our grants the best they can be.
That sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I've got all these just painted ideas from old paintings that I realize now it's like, well, that needs to be a virtual environment. It probably was always supposed to be a virtual environment rather than a painting.
I'm right there with you.
There's all kinds of ideas.
No, I love it. I just have been working on something very similar. I mean, along the lines of my creatures, and it's such a fun experiment to bring those 2D elements and kind of see how they live within this space, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
I used to do this for videos, and even the videos I realized, even the 360 videos, it's like, well, that would just be a really different experience if that wasn't actually, not a passive video, but a space, that you actually moved.
Yeah, and now with live streaming, you could do so many fun things when you can have your live streaming be on different 3D meshes. We've been breaking that and exploring that in our Let's Break Things world, and that's the cool thing, how to explore and push the boundaries of what a space is when it comes to let's say installation art, right? Obviously the whole thing is kind of like a giant installation art craziness, but it's so especially, and I love the actually hosting event aspect of it and how you can make it really engaging, or there's so many ways the different communities across the metaverse and in Mona, people have been using it, and yeah, I love to pull from all of it. So I'm right there with you with crazy ideas. So as you saw, I mean, my little demo was me going down deep the rabbit hole, but it's I think the main thing is giving yourself that time to actually go off the deep end and just think of crazy things, because that's really what's going to keep you going, and like
Yeah.
you want something that's super, super cool. Like, at least
Right.
that's what I'm like, what if I got to do something that I wanted? What would I do? So go for it, man. And I recommend
Sounds
everyone just
great.
diving in, and I think using the resource of all of us here in the Grants channel as our community and to help each other is definitely a huge plus. And what's one of your crazy ideas other than the paint one? I mean, I love that one,
Oh,
but
I just in general, I find I'll apply for grants, and then I think I've got a great grant, mostly in real life grants. And then
okay.
just months later, I go and read it again. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like it's sort of like beginning a conversation that
Yeah.
you've had in your head, and you're midway into it, and everyone just looks at you like, what are you talking about?
No,
So maybe that's just more prep.
but yeah, no, and that's one of the things, like when it comes to grant writing and why we created these examples, just to give you kind of like a framework that like makes it easy for you to be like, okay, these are the sections obviously within the submission form, but really do take those, put it in an Excel file, and start working on that outside of it, so you're not like in there trying to submit all in one session and then it all deletes itself. That would be really sad. That's
Mhm.
happened to all of us, I think. But like it's like my baby's gone. But yeah, like, and yeah, and work through ideas. And again, you can always post it in the grants channel, and we can give you some feedback and ideas in there as well. But yeah, the fact that you have this time to work on it, I encourage people to, like, kind of take that time and iterate. I'm all about that. Because usually my first go is always like crazy wildlands and no one can understand it but me. So what has helped, I mean, in terms of like let's see, I'm trying to think of, I'll think of other resources too, because in here I think it does help to even just read through what I was kind of going over earlier, kind of like read through some of the examples that we have. And again, it's like yours could be totally off what any of these are, but just to see how maybe you can integrate it or use the wording, that might help ground it.
Mhm.
But I
No,
said,
yeah, it looks like it's really well prepared. It's a really a great guide for this.
yeah, memory has been amazing. He's like the master of organization. Like working with him has been like my brain's like, wow, I love Notion now. And I highly recommend Notion. If any of you guys here have not used Notion as an organizational tool, do people here use it? Do you use it, Olgeta? Or can I call you
No,
Carla? Or how do you say it?
no,
Is it Olgeta
I
or
know it's so confusing. Like I should have just stuck with my regular name because Carla.
okay, Carla? Because I remember you from the old school. You were around since when I was.
Right.
But
But no, I haven't used it. I just wrote that down. I gotta look at it.
yeah, Notion and is really, I mean, at first it like, I was using Google Docs for everything, but Notion is like now my new brain. And it's
Oh
like,
wow.
and I'm definitely getting better and better at it. But like when you work with people like Memory, who's like an expert at it, I'm like, look at what his workflow. I'm like, damn. Like, but things like that really do help, especially when you're like, it really helped me at least create these like, sample resource ones. And here's the other one I didn't go over yet, but I can just dive into it. This is a more simple grant example. So this is a kit bashing modular abstract assets for, see, my naming convention. I have long names for everything, but that's okay. You guys can name it whatever you want. This one I was thinking was more like a 2000 tier grant. And this one is, I don't know if any of you guys have used any of the elements in the Mona library. Have you used them, Carla?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they're fun. They're like reactor elements. Oh my god, I just went in there, just dragged everything into a world and started just. So I
Wow.
wanted to
Yeah.
create more assets for that. So especially things that encourage new builders to just have like, modular builds ready to go and just like throw them in there and start like being able to create a build as fast as possible. So then you can just like iterate and explore and learn faster. So adding to that library, I thought would be a really fun um, little project. And I kind of did the same thing as I did for the other grant. This one is a little less built out just because, it's a smaller idea. But
Hmm.
yeah, maybe go through here, and however you decide to organize yours, maybe the structure might help it a little bit. At first, when
No,
I
that's
went in, I
nice.
kind of just like dove in and had way too much. So it does help to cut the fat, right? Like sometimes you
Sure.
write like 5 hours later, like, wait, what's the point?
Right.
But that's where it's like if you want any of us here, you can always share links in our grants channel and be like, hey, anybody have a second to look over? One of the main things about grant writing, I think, is to have a community of people who read through your stuff prior to submission is really, really, really helpful. I'm sure Cheddar Queso, you know that from Decentraland, right? One of the key things is to, like, in here, hopefully we'll all become the community to help each other, like, read through, because sometimes you think your idea makes sense and someone else reads it and they're like, what do you mean by that? And just like a few clarifying, like, eyes looking at it, and maybe like rephrasing it will really help, especially when we're reading through all the submissions. Anything to make it more clear, it will definitely help. And yeah, and have you used Canva before yourself or Pitch Deck?
Not those two. I haven't used Canva, no.
Oh, it's fun. It's so easy. It's free and fun, but it's another fun tool and they have all these templates there that you can use. So, I mean, and again, you don't have to do pitch deck, but it is a fun thing just to, like, for just to help kind of, again, solidify your idea a little bit.
No, I love messing around with stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Well, I can't believe an hour's already gone by. This has been amazing. I'm so happy everyone who showed up. And this is recorded, so we will be uploading these. And like I was saying earlier, this is a pilots program. We're here to learn from each other. So any ideas you guys have on making this whole process easier, better, clearer, for you guys, and you think that will help other future, our future rollouts or grant cycles, please always let us know in the comments, reach out to me. And yeah, I'm excited for all the submissions. I think there's been a couple already submitted. I have to go look in there. I've heard they were. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I can't wait to check it out. But yeah, there is another, next week, like Memory, who introduced himself, he's going to be the one leading it because I will be away for about 5 days, but I'll still be checking into the Grant's channel if you have any questions. I'll just be there early morning and late evening, but he will be running this. And again, this is just a time, office hours is a time where we'll just give little examples and also just leave it open for you guys to ask any questions. And I think it would be fun, especially now that people are starting to work on their proposals. You can also just show us what you're working on and we can give you feedback in real time. I don't know if that would be a fun thing for you guys, but I would think would be fun. What do you think?
Be great. Fractillions.
Yes.
Hi, it's Pixel Hustler. I had a moment. I can come back. I was able to jump back in. I didn't realize I was catching the tailwind of it. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions, or would you prefer me to DM?
Well, either way, we have yeah, we're gonna wrap up here in the next 5 minutes, but go for it. Would love to hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just curious. So for example, just the initial summary of the grant kind of pretty much spells out everything. For example, that the further description doesn't seem like it's almost like not necessary. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm losing track of my thoughts.
No. I get what you're saying. Like grant abstract versus grant description.
Yeah, like just to say that, like, is it sufficient if the grant abstract or the whatever the summary portion of it is, if that pretty much clarifies, or if you can, in less than 250 words, pretty much communicate the totality of what you're thinking, I'm assuming that would suffice if it does clarify all it needs to.
It depends, right? I think it is, let me look in here. I think it is required. So you could always rephrase it, because it is a requirement.
Well, I think my second question might better help clarify. Okay, so okay. On the more detailed description, is that anticipated to be sort of like really the totality of the project? Yeah. Meaning, for example, let's say that you say, okay, well, I'm going to have 3 prefabs that are related to reactor interactivity to help people gamify their worlds or whatever. Is it expected that we would include all that specific detail of what those prefabs are? Or is there another, like, what's the process beyond that point, like the first step? Is there a room for a discussion about the project to fill in some of the details that maybe is a little bit of overload for, a document, I suppose?
Well, kind of, I think the timeline is a great place to add that. Like if you look at my timeline and milestones, I kind of dive into more like specific details, especially in the other grant. I kind of really dive down deeply into that. Like this is kind of like the beast I created. Like, look, this is just week 1 right there. So that might be a great place for you to and also you guys, another thing that you can do, especially for timeline, you can send us like an external link if you want to do more like fully, you know.
Yeah, that was my final question was, would it be acceptable to provide a link to a video because I do have some potential prototypes of stuff to, better communicate what I'm talking about as opposed to just even images is like, hey, here's this world that shows what I'm talking about or something, okay.
And right here, under link visual guide, you can just, it could be whatever you want right here. So that's a great, that's a great thing to add to the Q&A. Be like, hey, we have external links. It's just, I just use like Canva as an example because that's usually the easiest thing. But videos or any of that stuff, definitely a big plus.
Okay, cool.
Great questions.
Perfect. All right, that's all I have. Right on.
It is a little confusing, right? I think Grand Abstract description, but I know a lot of grants I've been a part of ask for that. I think it's like Grand Abstract is like really general. Most people like do it in a sentence or two, and then the project description is like that meat and bones. You kind of like, go into depth.
No, you did a great job, and I have to reiterate that again. That like really seriously, you did a great job putting this all together and the way you've communicated and stuff. So kudos to you and thank you very much.
Well, thanks. Memory to the Met Empire, Maddie. I know it's been such a team effort. When you work with people, you're like, oh, it's not just me. It's these wonderful humans putting in like, because we really are all like, we're all builders at heart, which is like what I think makes it extra special. It's me, the Met Empire, and Memory are like avid builders. So we're doing something that like us as builders would love. So we're glad. Thank you for saying that. We're stoked. And again,
no, I sorry. I was just gonna say I totally agree. That really is actually an extra special component of it. I was just talking to someone the other day and just saying like, dude, it's incredible. We live at a time where like I'm sitting here in this community with people who work with the company, and we're all like legit geeking out on what we're doing. Totally, I mean, it's an interesting new sort of relationship with consumers and the products and the companies that build them. That's just really exciting. So anyway, wonderful job, team.
Oh, well, thank you, and we're stoked, just as stoked as you are, because we're total geeks and love this stuff. So we're excited to continue to make it better, and we can't wait to see what people submit. And again, like make this something that hopefully will live on for many, 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 many years. So I love being able to support artists. As an artist, it's like the best feeling.
It really is, right?
But I think we got blockchain Chad. We're wrapping up here in the next minute or so, but this has been recorded, and every Monday we will be having these office hours where we will be hanging out, and then one of us from the Builder Success team will kind of be talking about something specific. And I am Fractillion, so if you have any questions or if you want to introduce yourself and say something to the community, and possibly if you're looking for a team member, you can unmic yourself. If not, it's all good. Don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but it is fun. This is, like you were saying, it's like such an amazing opportunity to get to work with people all over the world who just are awesome. I mean, so many mind-blowing builders and creators. I just feel honored, really. But yeah, I think with that, if anybody else doesn't have anything else to say, I think we'll be wrapping it up. And yeah, jump into Discord and share with your friends, communities, anybody to come check it out and come on in and submit, because we want as many people in the community to give it a go. And I think it's a great learning experience. At least it was for me. And every time I've been parts of a grant, it's always like, opens my eyes to what's possible, or especially when you get to know the other community members also going through the same process. I think it teaches you a lot too as a builder. But cool. Well, yeah, I think that's it for today, but thank you guys so much for being here. And it's been an honor to get to talk with you guys. Hey, Emotional, what's up? He's an amazing avatar creator, Emotional. Woo! Do you want to say anything, or you're gonna head out too?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was listening in the beginning of this, but then I started getting calls because I'm trying to like move into a new place.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I know this. It's mainly about like the grants and stuff like that. Is you wanted me to like introduce myself or?
Oh yeah, that would be cool. And are you thinking of maybe doing this, or you're what are your thoughts?
I'd like to try to. I've never written a grant before. I think I told you grants scare me.
Yeah, that's why I'm here to help.
I'm just a vibey fella. I don't know. I think something like maybe like make a VRM with me type like event or something maybe, and then like optimizing
That'd be
sort of walk
fun.
through all that.
Yeah,
Would be definitely pretty cool.
that would be super cool. I would be there, fangirling it up. His
I'd
avatars.
love to do
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
like actual spaces in Mono, but I definitely need to get my skills up with Unity. I like learn Unity and then I stop using it, so then I forget everything. So
Yep.
then it's just like a constant loop.
Yep, that happens to me. It's been like every build I do, it's like I kind of feel comfortable, and then the next time I'm like, oh my god. And then
Yeah,
now
like,
with
wait,
all
what
the
happened to everything?
it's like I forgot everything, and you just look at you're like, I don't even know how to move around in here. But that's why these things are fun, and that's why like all the challenges we do, the build-a-thons and these grants are the opportunity to dive back in and be like, and especially with all the updates that have been happening, like visual scripting, oh my god, that's a whole rabbit hole that I can't wait to start. I
Yeah,
have to,
no, that got me very excited for sure.
right? Ooh, I can't wait to see. Yeah, you have to how about doing that and then building a world for that avatar for us to run around in, you know? Or building like a cool studio when you're like avatar creation studio.
Oh, true. Yeah, like a little laboratory.
Oh yes. And you can like showcase all your other crazy, amazing, beautiful avatars floating about, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna make a new friend for.
I'll definitely try to get something written up, and I'll reach out to you to if I get stuck anywhere too.
Oh, of course, yeah. Please, everyone, please feel free to reach out. But yeah, this has been a blast, and thank you guys all again. And yeah, and again for the next week, I'm always on the Discord checking if anybody has any questions, ideas, suggestions, you name it. We're here to help you, and if you're new or know people who are new and want to learn more, we're also always here for that as well. And yeah, come join us on Wednesdays as well. Rizzle and I will be breaking things and actually building a new space, so we'll have fun in there, right? Learning Unity again. Cool. Well, yeah, we'll catch you guys next week, and that will be again Memory who will be leading it, and dive on in and come up with any rough drafts. You can always DM me with anything. Okay.
Sweet. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting this
Thank you
on.
very much.
Oh, of course. Thank you guys all for being here. Catch you guys next time. Bye.
See you on the next one.
Cool. Woohoo! I know. I need to like get faster on my emojis. There needs to be like a quicker emoji selection. I don't want to like. I want to just to say fire, rabbit, heart. You know.
I need key bindings. I need to key bind my my emojis.
I know, and now that we have emojis in Discord, it's so empowering. It's just like I'm just gonna use them. I don't know if I even need them right now, but they're just fun to use. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. We'll catch you guys next time, and jump on in there.
Yeah. I'll see you around.
Okay.
We'll see you.
Bye.